What is going on during your Easter time? I hope everybody is enjoying themselves, even though we're all in lockdown, okay? Just a quick reminder, if you haven't already, we have a Facebook group with the same name as the YouTube channel. It is Pimpy's Investment Chat, and I'll leave a link in the description and encourage you guys to click it and come and join us in here. It's free 99, you can't beat that. In here, we have all kinds of information about the Iraqi dinar and the Vietnam dong, the Zim dollar, cryptocurrencies, gold, and silver. So I'll leave a link a link to the Facebook group in the description, and please come join us. All right. And if you have any questions, feel free to post them right in this group. And there's a lot of knowledgeable people in here who will be happy to answer any questions that you have. All right. So I was going to show you guys something kind of interesting, but before we get into that, let's talk about this article that came out still today on Thanksgiving. They're a little busy over there. So the Central Bank of Iraq announced that it has taken measures that contribute to enhancing the cash liquidity by an amount of $1 trillion or 1 trillion dinars. Let me make that correction. So they're going ahead and they are enhancing cash liquidity by the amount of 1 trillion dinars in the banks. The bank said in a statement today that the recent measures taken by this bank related to reducing the proportion of the mandatory reserves for the bank deposits will contribute to enhancing the bank's liquidity by an amount of 1 trillion Iraqi dinars to reduce the impact of contraction resulting from the corona pandemic. Reports indicate that Iraq is facing difficult economical conditions due to the outbreak of the corona epidemic. We know that's not the only reason why they're hurting. All right, we know that there was an oil war and the oil prices were driven down really far. We also know that there's protesting taking place, and we also know that they can't get a government in there to save their lives. Okay, also in addition to that, I think this is interesting too. So the UN envoys are calling for an end to wars in the Middle East. So on Saturday, the United Nations called for an immediate ceasefire in the countries of the Middle East, urged all warring parties to leave hostilities, and renew previous calls for a full time to confront the coronavirus. The United Nations envoys in the Middle East issued a joint statement calling for activating the innovation of the United Nations Security General launched on March 23rd to focus on a real battle and referring to the coronavirus. All right, so I told you guys earlier in another video that the United Nations representative for Iraq was in there to talk to the new Prime Minister designated Kazami. All right. So I like the fact that, and you guys got to feel a little excited about the fact that the United Nations is over in Iraq. The more they're there, the more there's always a possibility that they will pull the trigger on them being recognized internationally. You got to understand that once the world starts seeing these guys on the foreign exchange and they can start doing business internationally, you will see a change in the rate. There's no doubt about that. All right. Anyway, so this article is very interesting. It did come out today as well. And then again, if you add in this one here about the banks needing to boost their liquidity. Now, call me crazy. I know one way, and let me know what you think about this. But if they just change the rate, I'm sure that would help. Okay. Now, before I showed you guys a video, we talked about this. And earlier today, I was talking about how I watched the markets, and I thought it was interesting that they were all green and positive, considering that our nation has been on lockdown. I could not understand why it is that these guys were still rising. This stock was, and gold and silver I get, but I cannot understand this. And as I'm going through here, I'm also I want to bring up this. Okay, so people don't panic. If you buy cryptocurrencies, you see it going down in the red. I told you guys don't buy or sell with your emotions. This happens all the time. So earlier today, I was talking about how for a few days it's been kicking between 19 cents and 20 cents, but it's now dropped down around 18 cents, 18.39. So, just a little under 18.5 cents is what it is. But for me, this is good because I like to buy on the dip. I told you that we have Bitcoin halving that's coming up here in May, and I anticipate a serious run on cryptos, especially if our economy opens back up again. Okay. So anyways, I told you guys what happens. I have these little tickers that I watch. All right. So wow, just like that. See, do you see? Look how good I am. I just clicked it. And I'm so magical. I made the stock market change into positive territory. They must have heard Pimpy show. That's what it is. They heard my show and they said, let's go in a positive direction. All right. And now we're starting to see the XRPs and the cryptocurrencies go in the opposite direction a little bit. No big deal. Anyways, here's what I was talking about before. I told you guys I also have on here, I monitor what's going on with the Iraqi dinar, the IQD. As you can see again, it's kind of tethered. There's no activity. It's not green. It's not red. And before I told you it had been like this for a full solid week. And then one day it was green. And I was like, what the heck? And that prompted me to come over here. And I told you what I did. I went over to the ISX to see if indeed it was open. And usually it says closed. But when I opened it, it said open right here. You guys seen it in my video. But what we see right now is that it says market is closed. That's okay. That's because no activity is taking place. Even though it said open, there was no activity in the ISX since March the 16th. But I was just showing you that when I saw this, this is what it looked like for a week, and then it turned green one day, and then this said open. But as you can see, now it says closed, and this is here. But I do want to show you something that I came across. I thought it was interesting. For me, whenever I want to monitor stock markets, what I do is I look at daily reports just to look at performances and see what's going on. You come right here to market reports. When I clicked it, no, look at this, 316, 316, and then nothing, and then nothing, and then something. On 4/9, they posted in here the Iraq Stock Exchange yearbook. In other words, the performance for 2019. Now, this could mean something. This could mean nothing. Could this okay, so here's the way I'm looking at it. Is it possible that it just takes them a little over 3 entire months to put together all the information to create the yearbook? I mean, is this the norm for them, that the people won't get their 2019 performance manuals for the ISX until we get into late March, maybe coming into April? Or is this possible? Is this possible? They're just closing out a fiscal year, and they're going to start going back to the olden days when their fiscal period started in April. Is that possible? Because it used to be that way. And keep in mind, Iraq is part of the Arab Monetary Fund. There are 22 or 23 nations that are signed up there, and they all have the same fiscal periods that I believe start in April and end at the end of March. So again, this could be something, this could be nothing. And I know people go, well, what happens when you click on it? It is in PDF form. If you click on it, you could see what they're talking about, the performance of the ISX for the year 2019. Unless you know how to read this language, then you don't know what you're looking at. I don't know what I'm looking at. I just thought it was interesting that that was not there before. And on 4/9, they posted it there. And it says it's for the year 2019. Let me know what you think. Could this be something? Maybe it's nothing. Who knows? But I do think it's interesting that, like before, this is what happened, and it stayed that way for a week. When I came into the ISX, it said market closed. And now they're doing it again. But this new little tidbit of goodies in here, I don't know what this means. But I just thought I would share with you because I'm curious if any of you know what this means. Does this mean anything? Maybe it means nothing. Maybe they're closing out the year 2019, and when they reopen after this week coming up, maybe they'll open with a new rate. We'll see. Maybe not. But anyways, I just thought I would share this with you. So smash the like button if you haven't already. Please subscribe. So just like that, I made the markets change with the click of my fingers. And so let's see if it goes back. I'm just curious because it was red. Nope. So anyways, I do think it's interesting that the Dow continues to climb even though we're in lockdown. There is no movement on the ISX. There is a slight drop in cryptocurrencies. Don't worry about it. Don't panic. And again, the UN is asking for peace over there, and Iraq Bank is talking about making sure that their banks are liquid once again. All right. So again, you guys, if you're interested, there's a link in the description. Please come and join us. And I think it was like 22 of you guys have just joined Coinbase. So congratulations. And like I said, don't invest with your emotions. If the cryptocurrencies are going down a little bit, it's no big deal. They do this all the time, and then they go up as well. All right. So thank you for joining. And if you guys are interested in joining, I'll leave a link in the description as well. All right, you guys, continue having a good Easter. I just thought I would share this with you because it's very interesting. And in case you missed the last video, we indeed had a auction. All right, so auction did take place today, but very interesting to see that little tidbit of news in there. All right, you guys, have a good one. Bye.